Good morning. Today is the 12th of March 2024 and I'm going to go through my levels and my trading plan today. Before we start, let's take a look at today's news and see what could be moving the market. 8:30 we had CPI and we saw quite a decent move on the market, and we'll go into that in a second. And we've got 2 PM monthly budget statement. So be wary if you're in a trade at 2 PM. That gives it 2 out of the 3 for importance. It could move the market. And there's nothing else apart from the 10-year note auction at 1 o'clock. Okay, so here we have the 5-minute chart on the ES chart. Just a quick one. We had this data candle come in, 8:30 CPI candle, and it sold right off quite aggressively before, and then it reversed, came up. I am currently short right now. I'm short here. In fact, I can show you. So I'm short at the top. I got my entry was at 52.1875, and I've taken 3R off already, which was there, and I got my 5R target came, which is right on the VWAP, and it's the anchored VWAP as well on the 5-minute chart, literally within a tick. Still looks pretty weak. I'm looking at order flow, and I'm going to flick over to the left screen, the order flow screen, for a second. You can see this massive divergence. Bottom right chart, we've got the price is going up, and while the price is going up, the divergence was going down. So that's kind of one of my confirmations I use for a reversal. Put the arrow. So price, increase in price, decrease in cumulative delta divergence, which basically means the price is increasing, but we were getting more and more aggressive selling even though the price was going up. And you can see that also on the candlestick charts here. So as the price was going up, you can see a lot of aggressive selling on the cumulative delta, this area along at the bottom. So I was watching, I saw that we had small amounts of buyers coming into the top, and we had that area there, and we put in a, I'll go back a bit more, this is where I got long up here actually, and that is my confirmation to stay in the trade, because obviously it hit the VWAP. So we had a small amount of buyers there. We still had negative divergence on that green bar. Neutral divergence, we had a little bit of aggressive buying came in, and then that is what did it. I saw the low number, that 11 on this red down bar, and then we saw just some smaller numbers here as well. And so my entry was, I think it was on this bar. I got in here, and as soon as we got below, let's put my other pen back on. As soon as we got below this area here, which is like an area of resistance. This is the point of control in each candlestick bar, and I use that as a kind of an area of resistance. So right now my stop is at break even, which is about here, and obviously that is kind of, I should really be above, and we're just being filled for 5R. So that's why I got in. It was the negative divergence showing that there was aggressive selling on this bar. I waited for confirmation, and I was waiting for a footprint chart to show lack of buyers at the top end of the range of the candle. So flick back to my main screen. You can see I've just been filled at 5R, so that's a 3R, 5R trade. My stop's at break even, and this last target's 10R. You know, I'll leave that as a runner. I'll see if we can get below the VWAP, then I'll hold it. If we kind of hold the VWAP, I'll look to get out. It was only a scalp, but a decent way to start the morning. 3R and 5R. Let's go to my trading levels for today. This is the 1 hour time frame. Let's go back to the 5, because something I do every time we get a data drop at 8:30 is I put in a 50% line. So this is the candle. That's the top of the 5-minute data candle and the bottom of the 5-minute data candle, and this is the 50%. So I use a 50% fibs basically, and it marks in the 0 and the 1, the top and bottom of the candle as well. So I use this as an area. If we pull back down, this is a potential bounce area, which will be not too far off one of my levels anyway, 51.92. And also we can also keep an eye on what these areas, the bottom of the fibs and tops of fibs can also be significant. And also I won't do the trading until the pre-market, but once to after the pre-market, 9:30 onwards. But you'll probably see that the market will probably come up to this area, reject it, or it may just use it as a base before pushing up. And the same for the 15, the same for the 0 fibs line. You can see here we pulled right down into this orange line I add in as well, and that's the anchored VWAP tool. And you can see how it came into play. So we kind of touched it there, then we broke through it, came back up, and now we've rejected it. So that's just what I do. I do this, and what I do, once the market's played out, I'll take some screenshots and it will go into my trade database. And I encourage everyone to keep a trade database. Let me just open up mine. So I've got a trade database which is on my Google Drive, and all the trades which I trade and like, or ones I'm back testing, I take screenshots. So I've got a data strategy and a news 831 where I put the screenshots in, I annotate it all as well. And like the order flow as well, I annotate that. And for example, yesterday I did a single digit weak seller. I'm not sure if it's that one, it might be a few days ago. And I always annotate it. So and then it's good to go through because it just gives you confirmation, and it helps you know, if you're not sure about a trade, looking at your trade database, you know they work, and it's also good to look back to for reference. Right, levels. Into the hourly before we do anything. So start with the daily. I always like to start with a higher time frame. We kind of bounced off the trend line, the daily trend line yesterday. Put in a new. Did we put in a new? No, we didn't put an all-time high. But let's just clone this trend line. Not that one. So in trading view, to clone, if you select the line, hold down the control button and just drag it, you can do a clone. And I like to just put that in there. I think that's kind of the area we're watching. Kind of gives you where we could be going to, or if we break structure. So potentially if we see market rally, we've got this area up here to watch for a rejection. And we can see the last few days we haven't really tried to get to the top of this channel. We didn't get it there, we didn't get it there. So it could be showing signs of weakness, and we may be looking for a breakdown. So if we do, we've got an area to watch for a potential bounce. We put this in at 51.33, this area here. You know, we got close yesterday, but we need to break the trend line, and we need to get through the 20 moving average on the daily is kind of a bounce area. So volume wise, yesterday you can see we had this relatively small hammer candle and big volume bar as well. Usually a hammer candle at an end of a trend is a sign of weakness. We've had this reversal candles put in as well. So we've got a couple of signs of weakness here, and then we'll just see where we go today. So potentially, I don't know whether that CPI number was good or bad, but we're kind of back down to the top of the CPI candle anyway. So let's go into the hourly and come up with the levels. I've already pre-done the levels, did these a few hours ago. So the first level, kind of funny how we're there now. This is based on this area of confluence, this point of control as well, where we've got high volume coming in at bottoms of these pivots, bottom of these pivots, and tops of these pivots here. And it's kind of area of confluence, it's this area. So I'm kind of watching for it was a rejection at 52.08, and I kind of took that in the pre-market anyway. I think my levels are looking a bit different. Just look at the June. Here we go. So this area I'm watching 52.20, 52. Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it, that they haven't 52.20, 52.08. Yeah, it's not quite sure what the something to do with the rollover from H to M. Yeah, it's the right contract. I was wondering whether maybe it's my NinjaTrader wrong, but it should have rolled over as well. 52.01 is the current price, and I've got 52.14 on my NinjaTrader. Okay, I'll look into that shortly. I'll do the levels. I'll base them on the trading view levels. So I'm kind of watching 52.08 for a rejection, which we've kind of been there now. That's gone, and that is also the area as what I got in on the pre-market after that CPI candle. I had another area as well, 52.18, and sorry, let's start again. That's where I got in, 52.18, that area. And it's a bit strange because my NinjaTrader is showing me different numbers. 52.01, oh, that's MES is correct. 52.01, but if you go on to ES, it's showing me totally different numbers. My mistake. Right, I didn't refresh my chart and I was looking at old data. Okay, we're back to where we are now, and that looks better. I've updated my NinjaTrader recently, the chart, so it doesn't show me when I'm off the chart. I need to change that back again. Okay, so ignore that. The rejection area I was watching in the from yesterday, this area of confidence, bottoms of candles, tops of candles there, kind of came in as well. That's the area I went short, and it happened to be the top of the CPI number. 52.18 to 52.20 if we come back up there for rejection. Otherwise, I'm watching for a bounce in this lower region, 51.80. It's off this trend line as well, and you can see we kind of bounced off the trend line yesterday. Just to recall, go back to October 2023. That's where the trend line comes from. So we bounced off it October. We bounced off it in February, bounced off it again yesterday, so it's pretty significant, and so it happens to be an area I'm watching as well. But if we do get down to that trend line, I'll be looking for order flow for a particular bounce. You can also watch for a bounce at the pre-market low, which is the CPI candle, and we've got the 200 moving average around that area, but it's a sideways, so there's not much waiting on that for a bounce now. We need to see sideways, the 200 going up or down like that. But when it's kind of sideways like that, you can see it goes through it. Kind of does hold it a bit, held it there, kind of does keep it. But yesterday really didn't do much at all. Okay, so simple levels. I'm just watching for a kind of rejection. It's already gone now, the pre-market high, so it'll be a second attempt at the pre-market high area for rejection, 52.20. That's a higher risk play now, and I'll just trade it with less risk. If we get into all-time highs, we can look for a rejection up there maybe. Remember, we are on the daily, kind of extended away from the 50, kind of got close to the 20, but not quite back there yet. And then bounce levels, we're watching 51.55 if we break down through this trend line, and this entire area, similar area we saw yesterday. And then if we get back down there, 51.25 for a bounce. Okay, right. My charts are good again now. I don't know why I was looking at the wrong chart. But anyway. So that's it really. I'll recap these again in a minute. Just remember, we're on SPY now. This yellow line is the weekly trend line, which I think will be pretty significant. Goes back to 2000, March 2000. That's 24 years ago. We kind of had a big reaction in December 21. And we're kind of up in that area now, and you can see we spiked through it and rejected it, so potentially, you know, we could be looking at something now. So keep an eye on that. That's on the weekly. Back to the hourly. A bit like MES, there's only a couple of levels I can really see. A rejection, pre-market high area. You know, a friend is your trend. The trend is your friend still, so maybe you can look for a break and retest into the pre-market highs. But kind of got there before, rejected it. Kind of been there before, pushed through and rejected. We're kind of big rejection from there today in CPI. And the bounce level, the only place I like is probably down at 504.91, 505. This area, or this higher risk bounce at 508.80 or 509, and that's basically down at that point, yesterday's low. And I think that's it. NQ, took a list there, I struggled to find a decent level really. If we get all the way down to 17,800, maybe that's a area to watch for a bounce. Yeah, I don't like much on this chart, not at the moment. Kind of need to clear this area. So if we can clear through these pivots, then we can potentially see a bit of a break and retest. A break and retest off this area. It's a big area, 18,100, 18,000, nice lot round psychological number. So we can look for rejection down. But that's it, and there's nothing really. Let's get rid of that. There's no Qs. Same again, bounce at yesterday's low we can watch for. It's coming into that area of demand. If we get down to 434, 433.50. Otherwise, we've got the reject area. This area of confluence. It's only by a few pivots, tops, bottoms, tops. Kind of got closer in the pre-market. So 441.98, 442 basically. And obviously we've got a rejection area up here, 446.66. SPX. Still, look at that, 5100. We talked about this every day. Still holding this area, as done yesterday, previous few days. Kind of top of it area, top of it. So still significant area. So depends where we open up. We can watch it for a bounce, or we can watch it for a break and retest short. So keep an eye on that. We are now, as of yesterday, we are below the 50 moving average on the SPX. And do we have a bit of a rally? Yeah, we had a bit of a rally, so we're probably going to open up above it. So we could use that as a bounce area. So let's watch 5100 for a bounce. Let's just put an alert in. Even if I don't take it, it's just good to know when we're down that area. Because I mean, if I'm short on ES, then I can use that as a guide to get out. Or if I'm long, then I can stay in it because I might see a bounce. Gold. Gold is finally having a bit of a sell-off. We haven't seen this for a while. Look at this hourly, very big, strong uptrend on the hourly. So we've broken down through yesterday's low. We've broken all the moving averages apart from the 200. So we can watch for a potential pullback into yesterday's low area for a short. Kind of coming into this area of confluence right now. Kind of where we are. I like it about there. So kind of at a bounce area. So maybe you can take a higher risk bounce right now. Still in the daily uptrend though. Look at that strong trend. Into kind of broken those pivots. Quite far away as well. So we are due a bit of a pullback to the 20, the 50, the 8, the 20, the 50 and the 200. Back to base, as I say. So my pen's not working, I'm not sure why. So maybe we can look for a long if we get back down to the 20 or maybe the 50 to continue the trend. And maybe as a bit of a swing trade, but we can watch this area as well. I quite like this area for a bounce. Not only is it the 200, we've got an area of confluence, tops and bottoms of candles. So let's watch 21.30 for a bounce. Does it come to any pivots? No, not really. We've got this area as well. We can watch for a bounce as well if we break through. That's the previous big pivot we've had. So we've got a few areas. We've got that pivot and this pivot, plus that area of confluence in the 200. Oil. We talked about this. It's rounding off. It seems or appears to be rounding off. Let's just close my pen. I use Epic Pen and it's great, but sometimes it just crashes. Oh. So I'm in Task Manager. Not sure what I just closed, but anyway. So you can see we kind of saw this big head and shoulders pattern forming, and we kind of broken the neckline. Coming back up, we've retested it. We talked about the neckline yesterday, and potentially there's a short here somewhere. around here, probably where we are right now, kind of putting in a bit of a bear flag. So potentially that's a short right now. If we can pull back, retest the bear flag area to continue that down. But I do quite like a short exactly where we are now. Maybe probably we're a bit back on that. Oh, let's open up the arrow. I quite like it if we can get back up to the VWAP area, or maybe up to yesterday's high for rejection. So keep an eye on that. That looks like probably a decent short setting up. You see it curving around as well. Moving averages are now going sideways. The 50s downward trailing. Okay, so let's look at RTY, which is the E-mini Russells. Look at that. Head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break of the neckline, and look what happened. Retest. Not much volume yesterday, so that's good. That's what you want to see on a break and retest. I would say look for a short anytime now. If it breaks down yesterday's low, potentially that's a decent short, and a target we could use that pivot. First target will be quite close, 2058, and then we've got this area of high volume below. You can look at the volume profile. This tool here, you can see where the volume is there. In fact, let's draw some boxes. So I like to cover the 2 or 3 candles around the point of control. So we're covering that area. Let's just tidy it up. And we're covering this area here, a bit of volume up here as well. This is the next area. Kind of, that's the 2 zones to watch for. So yesterday's high and pre-market low for a bounce. So keep an eye on that. The YM, which is the Dow Jones, kind of putting in this area here. I'm just looking at the recent pivots here, but you can go back to pivots here, all these areas, decent area of confluence, and tops, you know, break through there, and we're kind of back there again right now. So potentially while we're below the 200, we can look for shorts. And if we were to get back up into this area, 39,350 maybe, pre-market high, we can look for a rejection. If we break the pre-market high, we can look for a trend continuation, because we're kind of putting in an uptrend on the hourly. But we have got a lot of overhead junk to the left, but not as much volume as we have down here. So that's got something going for us. There's kind of a bit of a void up here, but we've got resistance, 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 and resistance. Probably not one I want to play. If it breaks down below these areas, we can look for a break and retest short as well. And Bitcoin, very rampant. I took some more profits off yesterday, 72, I think it was, around 72,000. So I've taken it off at 69. No, was it? No, where was the last all-time high? Wherever the last all-time high was, I think it's about around here. I took some off at 61, 66, and what I've been doing, I don't have much, but I took half off there. I took half of what I had left there. I took another half off there. So I've still got some left. If it keeps running, you know, 100,000 or something, who knows where it's going to go. But the reason I took it off is because of the volume we're seeing, and we're very, very, very overbought right now. We're the RSI is right up in the 90s. So, and we're far away from the 20, we're far away from the 50, and we're far away from the 200. So we do need a bit of a pullback. And when it does, what I've taken off will be added back in. I probably want to add when I get back down to the 50 and the 200. And I'm still adding to it every month anyway, just little bits here, not much. So even while it's pushing up, I'm adding every month to it. But that's it. Let's quickly look at ES again, see if there's any new levels since we last there. No, not really. We're kind of in this area of where the point of control is just above, so we've got a bit of resistance there. So just to recap the levels, I'm looking for a rejection of pre-market high. 51.18 was the area I had before that data candle came into play. Area of confluence, tops and bottoms of candles, tops of this pivot. We had a big reaction last time. We had another big reaction to that CPI, and we've got a little bit of volume. I'm still short at the moment. I think my break even's about there. That's where I am. I'm not sure if it hit my 3R, hit my 5R target, and I've got a 10R target down here somewhere in my runner. If we're looking for a bounce, I kind of like the bounce in this area of demand. So 51, 55, 51, 16, exactly the area we saw yesterday. Look at that for a perfect bounce. I got in at that point there as well. Patience, waited, kind of got in exactly where I wanted. I had one trade yesterday. If we get back down there again, we can look for a double bottom, but we've got this trend line. It seems to be holding this trend line, so we could watch for a position along this trend line, 51.70 area, or the pre-market low, that area, for a bounce. And if we do get down, even though I do like this area, we've been there once already, so it's not as, probably won't play as well as it did yesterday because we were the second time round, and we could be looking for potential weakness as well. I think that's it. And obviously we've got the bounce area down at 51.25 to 51.40. I kind of like the 51.25 area the most in this entire area of demand. So if we get down, only because there's tops of candles, bottoms of candles, big area of confluence, and so I want to, if it gets back down to this area, I'll be looking for a long. I've got an alert set up as well, so if it does get down there, I don't have to be sitting in front of my computer, I'll see the alert come in. Okay, I think that's it. If you're interested in order flow, just flick over to my order flow screen. I will stream this live next, so just find the link, just click on the whatever it is linked to the channel, and you'll see the live video. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you found this helpful, hit the like button.